the Meiri. I want to do the Mishnah Melech and the Kivega. Mishnah Melech is on page 10. Kivega is on page 2. This is what I want to do. It's all the same subject. By Nosanu Vomoi, what exactly the problem with Omoi? What is the problem by Omoi? What's the problem? So we don't know his Ritzu, we don't know his Das. Chazon Amira, his Das. We'll see. So we start with Kuntres Achoin. It's in page Gimel. And the Pnei Yoshua here is basically saying the same thing in Lichoah, what the Chaim Alevi said. Shmuel, same pshat in the Tur B'Shem Ramos. I'm going to read what he says here. Lance it through. I want to read the Miri. Then really is I want to do the Ere today is the Mishle Melech and Kivegen. That's what we're doing. See if Hashem helps me to do it. It's not Omrohi. The case is Nosanu Omrohi. What you guys prepared, Rabbi? Nosanu Omrohu. Okay. Good. We can combine all that together, Bezrat Hashem. It's really all the same shaila here. So no. Okay. I'm reading the Kuntasachon. Simon Chov Zayin Sivchet. Kuntasachon is the choice. Who wrote the Kuntasachon? Is David Miluim? He has a book Kuntasachon in the back. That's Kuntasachon or Kuntasachon of the Pnei Yoshua. I don't know who he is. This is David Miluim. Yeah, but Kuntas Achoin on Siman Chov Zayin Sivchet. David Miluim has an end Kuntas Achoin. I don't know. Could be the Makne too. I don't know who he is. Who's the Kuntas Achoin here? Yeah, but it could be. No, so who's the David Miluim? I know. That's I don't know who he's here. I don't know who he's talking. I don't know. I just said it's a Bnei Yeshua, but I don't know. I don't know what his name is. Bnei Yeshua, a lot of people wrote a book named Kuntas Achoin. Bnei Yeshua, David Miluim in the end, he has a Kuntas. I don't know if he has. I didn't see. And the Makne has Kuntas Achoin. So who's the Kuntas Achoin? I don't know who is he. I don't know who we're talking about. But Kuntas Achoin. What's important is what he says, the Svogas. Okay? I don't know who is the person. Chaval, but what? The Bnei Yeshua, okay, so. The light. I rather it probably goes on the Avnei Miluim. If Avnei Miluim has Kuntas Achoin, probably Avnei. Probably, I don't know. That's my feeling. I don't know. Verify. How are you doing, Abitzchok? Okay. Let's continue on. Nosan hu v'moi. V'im oma abal hein b'shas nesina. Is the Yad Ramad too. If the husband said yes in the time of the giving, ave vadai kiddushin is vadai kiddushin. Afilu en asukim boisoingan. Even if they're not busy in the same subject. וכן הוא בטור בשם הרמה. צריך שיהיה לך דפים. תגיד לי דפים, תסתכל בפנים. אם לא, יש פה דפים. פה מאחורה. It's what is it? It's not the sugi? Okay. Okay. Let's continue on again. Omohi, he gave and she spoke. V'im ono abal hein b'shasasina. If the husband answered the word yes in the time of the giving, avevada kiddushin, it's vada kiddushin. Afilu en asuki bo yisuyin, even if they're not busy in the same subject.
Where he gave the money?
Yes. V'chen hu batu b'shem harama. Mashma miloshon zeh. The understanding of this language is the Mairi Shemedaber imo. We talk about that he spoke to her about Kiddushin. Elo she'en asukim bo yisuyin, are not busy and not subject. And then he said yes. Di lavochi, if it wasn't so that he spoke to her, just not busy, avel ashminu ribus atfei, should have mentioned a bigger chiddush. The afilo ena medaber, even if he doesn't speak to her, mehani works, imo maren, if he said yes. Since he said, when he said yes, it's even if it's not asukim, it's mashma medaber yes. Because if means not asukim, not medaber, it should have said a bigger chiddush, not medaber. He says just when he said hen is afilu not asukim means only not busy, but he did speak before. Question is why? The Bach also medagdek so in Ramor in the two. Because of Atam, the Bach wrote the reason is the loy diberim o yesh hein shu kelav kenisa begachoyver. In Begachoyver we saw Omar Rabbi Yochanan says break my jar, rip my clothing. He said yes, and the Gemara says yes. Omar Rabbi Yochanan yes, en shu kelav elav kohen. There is a lav which means no, and there's a lav means yes. They depend on the subject. So he says, the Bach says, you know why you need medaber imo to speak before, even though he's not busy at the time on the subject of kiddushin mamash, but he didn't speak before. Because if he just said yes and he didn't speak before, so maybe the yes means no. We don't know what does yes mean. The Abash Iksholov, the Beis Shmuel asked on the Bach. It says if somebody steals from a woman and then he's mekadosh back with it to her, and she said yes, it works. So what do we see? Venira the kavanoso, he looks like he's asking, he's mean to ask. The also mayri below shidduch. Then we talk about there was no shidduchim before. Kedeisa besugid afid beis. Dainu lo shamanu shenistratzah so liskadesh. We didn't hear that she agreed to miskadesh. Afilu even though so. We don't say the mashomu heinu kelav. We see a case when somebody steals from a woman and he gives her back. He says, "Arayim kodesh." She said yes. We don't say the yes means no, even there's no shidduchim before. So you say yes means yes. So why here the Yad Rama and the Tur and the Shulchan Aruch which Paskin says that you need to say hein on the basis of story that he spoke to her before. Then we know Ein means Hein. Otherwise, Hein means Lav according to the Bach explanation. Why? What's the difference between that and when they kitch up against him? That the Ein means Hein, even though there's no Shidu. Vetu kosheli.
One's the man, one's the woman.
Right? You make a chiluk. Vetu kosheli, yes. Yes, so it's more of a svara that her Hein, there's more of a svara that a Hein means no. Hein means just give it. Yeda loche is it works. Kal v'chomer, when he gives and she speaks, and he says hein, doesn't mean no. It means hein. And therefore I don't need medaberim before according to the Bach. That's his cash on the Bach. So therefore what?
She says yes.
She wants to be married. A man, his hein doesn't mean hein, maybe love. Okay, good answer. I like this answer. Vetu, he has more kashas on the back. He's saying that maybe by a woman, when I steal from her and I give it back and say yes, we assume she wants to get married. Don't say hein means love. Because a woman wants to get married by koldu. Tavla mitav tandu. But by a man, when he says hen, means maybe love. That's why we need to have medaberim. Otherwise, the hen will not be hen, maybe love. It'll be a suffix. What? There's a general rule in the choivel that when a person says hein, we have to see the circumstances, and sometimes hein means no. Shbor kadi krak susi. Said hein. Says I want to rip your clothes, and I'll be exempt. He says yes. Yes means yes. Yes means no. Yes. Bit me up. Yes. So he says also here when he says yes to her request, I want to marry. He gave it. She said, and he said yes, without medaberim before. Maybe the yes means no. That's the bach. So he says, what's the difference in this and kitchav gezel that we say yes, and yes there means yes without saying maybe means no. What?
You have 18 there.
Where? All cases we have 8. How do I know? Maybe hen means no.
It's me.
No. It's, but the Bach says that the reason why the Yad Ramah says you didn't say hein, because why besides the hein, you need medaberim or before? Because otherwise the hein maybe means love. Because maybe it means beat me up. No, he didn't say. We didn't hear any difference in tune. But we don't know what he meant. Maybe he meant love, beat me up.
Instead of saying yes, maybe it's yeah.
Yeah, but that's clear that that you know that it means yes, means no. But sometimes the guy say yes, but he means to say no, beat me up. Without a tune difference. But you know, or you're a southern, maybe means no. So in order to remove that suffix and say Vadai Kiddushin, the Yad Ramah says, the Bach explains Yad Ramah, they have to say Medaberim or before.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's no difference in the tone. Why would you think it means no?
Right.
On what basis do you say no?
Okay, good question.
Could be a suffix.
A suffix, not Vadai. It's not a Vadai Kiddushin. You assume that you don't say it unless you have a basis to say that. But if the Bach understands that always you worry for that, unless you have Vadai, then you don't say that. So here you know Vadai not. How do you know Vadai not? If you medaberim before, you know Vadai not. But hein means hein. But if you don't have medaberim before, the hein not necessarily means hein because she spoke. He didn't say anything. She said yes. Yes on what? Yes. Thank you for the money. Thank you for this. It's for your good, kind words. You don't have to come with me, but like the same way, hein can be lav. When I say hein and I say in a tune of bitmia, you understand it means lav. So in concept, the words hein can be also lav, just a matter of the tune, the way we communicate. So even if you don't have the tune, you still have a suffix. Maybe that's what he meant.
Not talking about marriage, talking about something else.
Yes. At the moment when he gave it, he didn't speak about Kiddushin. He spoke about having children, but not Kiddushin. Buying a house, where's jewelry, he didn't speak about Kiddushin.
Stop. It has to be clear what he says because he's pushing off other people.
From her. Yeah.
So it has to be absolutely clear.
Has to be clear. So the Bach says, if it wasn't medaberim before, the fact he said hein, I wouldn't know means hein means hein. Maybe hein means love. Or at least a suffix. Comes the Bash and says, no way, don't. That's not true. There's no such thing to have, like you were saying. Those are havamina hein means love. Only when there's a tune. And when he brings, what's this raya? The two kosheli, also the perkachoiv, if you look at perkachoivel, eino lepirush atesis. אפילו המראים בניחוסו דנינם לישהו כלב, הוא דעת שהם שברמו בחודשים Simon Tav Chaf Aleph. Only Toysa says that when I say the word hein, even benachat, even nichusa, you hear? Only then I have a suffix name means milav. Why? The Toysa says depends what's the case. Is chabolas momoin or chabolas gufoin? When it's chabolas momoin, maybe hein means lav. Rip my clothes, break my jar. There I mitzad etzem asvor, etzem asipu. There I know that maybe ein means love. So sorry, maybe opposite. Chabolas gufoy maybe hein means love, but chabolas mamoino hein could be hein. So when it's this big chilukim between gufoy and mamoino. So Taisa says there that when I say the word hein, even benichuso, because of the subject matter, I can assume I can have a doubt that hein even benichuso means love. So that's Shitas Taisas. Aval das Rashi v'Arambam the Davrak Shomar hein beloshon pitmia. Aval im Omar hein benichuso lo amrin on Davak Elam. It doesn't make chilukim. It depends which type of moment is it. See, Taisas. They look inside. I looked inside. That's what Taisa says. Taisa says that even lav benichusa means no. If the subject matter drives you for that. Here. Taisa says here. Eloniga lefarish. The nizke gufoy אפילו אומר לו, hein, שדוי מקוימר בניחוסו, מסתום ביט כאומר. Can I break your hand? And I say yes. Benichusa means, mistome means beat me up. Yes?
That's the problem with the guy.
1
Why
second.
would he say yes?
בניסקה ממוינו צדי ג' עמוד א'. ובניסקה ממוינו אומר לאילב, ודוי מקוימר בניחוסו, מסתום ביט כאומר. Again. ניסקה גופו אפילו אומר להן, שדוי מקוימר בניחוסו, מסתום ביט כאומר. Even though he said benichuse hein, it means no. Uniske mamoinoi omar leilav says, don't rip my shirt, don't rip this. V'doi mekom benichusa. I said it. It looks like that I'm saying it calmly. The word lav. Mistome bit me keoma. Mistome, he said it a wonder. Okay, much mitchil omar lekrak susi which was God. Since the beginning, I said, rip my clothes, break my jar. So now that I said no, even minichusa means yes. That's what Taisa says. Again, Taisa makes a chiluk between sometimes hein means lav and sometimes lav means hen. By niske gufoy, when I say hein, even minichusa means lav, don't break my arm. By niske mamoino, when I say rip my clothes, break my jar, that's what I said. And then the guy says, you want me to do it? And I say, no, even simply means yes. Yes, because I said before that I want you to break my jar and rip my clothes. This is what Taisa says. Comes the Beishmuel and he said, another Beishmuel, the Kuntas Achum, whatever it is, I don't know if it's the Pnei Yeshua, or the Miluim, or the Makne. It says, wait a second. He says, the Bach that says, that without diberimo before the hein doesn't mean hein, maybe means lav. He says that's according to Tosfos that even when I say hein benichusa, if the circumstance tells me that the hein even benichusa doesn't mean hein, means lav, or lav doesn't mean lav, means hein. Depends on the circumstance. The svaras adobo. So I can understand. The Bach says somehow when he gives and she speaks, we give silently, and she speaks and says hein. Without medaberimo, the svaras adobo will be that means lav for some reason. Because I follow svaras, I don't follow the word. I don't need the tune. You hear, Rabbi? I don't need the tune. I need the moon. I need the understanding of the subject. I don't need the tune. I need the moon. I need a reality. What's the if the person is a lunatic, the reality of the moment. That's what That's what determines what it means hein. So that's according to Toisus. But Rashi v'Rambam, aval das Rashi v'Rambam, the Davrak Shomarin Beloshon Bitvia. We do follow the tune, not the reality of the circumstances. Oh, aval imo marin b'nichuso. But if I said hein b'nichuso, lo amrina davek elav. Going to the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch is a stam Shulchan Aruch. So according to the Shulchan Aruch and the Halacha, when a person says hein, depends on the tune. And if there's no tune, like right away we understand where's the tune. If there's no more tune, what's the avamina? No, follow the subject. So that's Tosis follow the subject. But according to Rashi and Rambam, you don't follow the tune. And he said, hein b'nichusa means hein. And the Shulchan Aruch paskin like that. So why here the Bach says that the Yad Ramah and the tune Shulchan Aruch need medaberimo for the hein to mean hein? No, even without medaberimo, hein b'nichusa means hein. Question number 3. The two and more. The name of the atam mishum dehein shu kelav avesoki oche afilu im lo diberim o betchilo biski kedushim el afilu shidach v'nisratzu kvar ze lo ze. The two lo yishayich loma the benichus ave kelav. He says, okay, let's follow Toises, follow the subject. He says, I don't need in order to mafkia that the lav benichus doesn't mean. Sorry, that the hein benichus doesn't mean lav. In order to mafkia that. You the back that says Abshat Ned Ramon the Tur Shulchan, I don't need medaberimo in order to mafkia that the hein doesn't mean love. It's enough that you have shiduchim. You have enough. You have to have no izrot. You don't have dibur medaberimo. Umiloshan Aramah Shulchan mashma that you need betafka. Shu medaberimo boisosho. And Hashem Asubadin, he did speak to her before and then afterwards. He spoke to her. At the moment of the giving, he spoke to her about around Kiddushi, but not Mamish Kiddushi. But he spoke to her before about Kiddushi. Why? I just need to know his rotzon to remove that the hen should not be loved. So how do I remove that? To remove the subject. It's as long that there was a Shidduchi before, it's enough. What? I don't know.
They're the ones who decide.
Yes, good. We're going to speak about the Eidim in a minute. But Lichoiroi, he's talking about the Etzem Maise Kiddushi. Then the Eidim, you have to tell Temeidai, what the Eidim see. We thought the Eidim is a second point. We're now first talking about the Kiddushin itself. What I have, what is the components of the Maise Kiddushi. Eidim have to see that, and if they see that, it's a Meilas Kiddushi. What?
Who's deciding on the language?
Basically. The Eidim will tell the basic what language he used. One medaberimo, then when he gave and he said hen, and the basic will judge if it's kiddushin or not. Sure. Otherwise, always every kiddushin you have to have Eidim tell you what happened.
Right. It's all decision of hand and love.
Yeah. So it's machloek we follow tune or we follow the subject. According to the Toises, we follow the subject. So first of all, so okay, so maybe the subject, but according to the Rashi and the Rambam Shulchan follow the tune. Here there was normal tune, was benichusa, and even according to Toys who follow the subject. Here I don't need to remove the subject by having medaber. There's enough shidduch, and from the two the Ramo Yad Ramah in the Shulchan is mashma that you need a medaber bedafka, not shidduch. The dibur is it. He medaber, and then he speak in a moment mamish bishayto about kiddushim, but he had mamish dibur before. Must be, he says, there's a big dibur. Oy lo manitom ala gdoinim hailu. Shlo ipizor amol kepasha. Why didn't he explain simply? The svirle came to be an amiro. The bal, I need amiro. What I need? Amiro. That's what is very important to me. Who's kudesachon? Is the Pnei Yeshua? Because the concept of amir of Reb Chaim Halevi is already by the kudesachon. Who's the Pnei Yeshua said it before? The Kshay said it before. Yeah, but midin kiika. Midin kiika. No, the bal never need amiro. Came in the bein amiro the bal midorais me to the kok vichika. And no moil retzoin the bal amiro doesn't help his wish, his will without speaking. Then ritzu godol mikshir shitel shel kiddushi. There's no greater wish, agreeing, wanting when she says, "Give it to me for the sake of kiddushi," and he gives it to her upon her words. So therefore he agrees. Yet doesn't help his speaking. Even he says yes, Doesn't work until he says in his mouth, his lips. Doesn't add by saying the word yes. Why? Yes is only a language of wanting. The ritzu lamani, and wanting doesn't help. I need amira. You need to be the leader. You need to be the initiator of the kiddushi. Not wanting. Wanting is not enough. Ritzu is not enough. Ritzu leishu is not enough. You need kiddushin loshen kicha. First of all, what he says. Let's say opposite. What does he say? Let's know what he says. What does the Kuntas Achon says, which is definitely before Chaim Alevi? Okay. What does it say? What?
Baruch.
Bar.
Clear.
Clear.
Barur.
Barur, yes. So let's see Barur. What is Barur? He said he says Barur. Clear what he's saying.
No, I'm saying no. Saying that he has the man has to be Baruch, what he said. Has to be clear to the agent what he meant. No?
Okay. I would say a couple of svaras. Here, Reb Shlomo, Rabbi Shlomo. I can say a couple of svaras. Why the husband needs to speak clear in the din kicha? Is it like we saw in the Balamoir that she's boining a bal? That was the dibur has to come out of his mouth. His boinenus, and the eidim need to see that that's what he's misboinen. And by kiddushin, even the isha needs to see that he's boinenus. That his misboinen that we're saying is a serious thing that he's doing a ma'asekicha, ma'asekicha, ma'aseshlichus, v'shilcham yibeison. But that's the language that we saw in the Balamor, right? We saw in the language, Ba'inon she's boinen adovo, ola eidim ola isha. The husband needs to come as sheyoitzi abal ashluchim befiv. Ba'inon she's boinen adovo. The husband needs to take the language of kiddushin in his mouth in a way that he can think about it, that he can be boinen on it. With das. And the eidim have to see that what he's doing it seriously. He's doing it with das. That's the goal of him speaking, or no? There's another level, a higher level. That he needs to be the leader. We saw like the Meiri. The Torah wants to say that the relationship, the setup of the relationship has to be that he's the leader. He's the taker. He's the one that searches and he takes the woman for him. For the benefit of the relationship. I'm saying Tamadovo, so it makes it easier. Which means, again, let's do the Hakiva. Have a Hakiva. Why does the husband need to say Amira midin kikak? Is it she's pointing Abdova that he's doing it for himself, for the Gavra of the husband, that he's mispointed he's doing a Meiser Retzini of Kicha? And they have to see that Retzinus by him, like by Shiluchim. He needs to know he's doing it. The woman does have to know it's for himself, and the Eidim has to know for himself. By Kiddush, he also have to know the woman needs to know. And the Eidim needs to know that the woman knows and he knows it. But is it only din in the Gavra? Or no? It's a din in a relationship. That the way the Kiddushin has to be set up, that he's taking her. Right? They say, Kiika Kishisho, I am a Kodesh asleep. Is that the strength, his Rotzon and Das, is the format of the act? Or you can say both. Three possibilities. Both. Or the strength is Das, or the form that's a format of the taking. Yes, what do you want to say? One say before you. Right. No, of course he needs to take. He has to take her, but 1 second. But he has to take her is for him, and for him is that's part of his ma'aseh, or it's part of the ma'aseh of the relationship between him and her. It's a difference. We saw the Meiri. We spoke many times about it. The beginning of the Masechta. That really marriage, Kiddushin, it's a shutfis. Kiddushin is shutfis. What? That's the Balamoya big ma'aseh. We're not saying a big ma'aseh. We're saying the format, how they're gonna cut and bind this relationship only if the format that he's taking her. Then Hashem says, okay, such a relationship will stand, will be kodesh, and it will be proper, and it will continue on properly in the and since the base is properly, the whole marriage is proper. And there's a message for the whole marriage. That's what he brought the Meiri. So it's different. Balamoy didn't say that. So let's go back to Kutasachar. What does the Kuntras Achona say? The Kuntras Achon says Pshat in the Adrama in the Shulchan Aruch that when he says no sanu v'omroi, when he gives it, she speaks, and he says hey, is not enough. Not because like the Bach maybe hands means no, because according to the Rashi and Rambam, hein means hein, as long as benichuso. And even according to Tosfos, that's only the subject matter. But it's enough to have shidduchim to know that it means hein's hein. So what do I need medaberima? Must be medaberima before, because you need dibur. You need dibur. But wait a second. You have dibur before, and you have hein now. Hein doesn't dibur. Hein means he agrees to her. Just says, I agree to what you say. Means it shows his rotzon. He's not showing leadership of Maisi Kich of taking, or Maisi's poyenus. It's not so doing it. Just as Ein, he shows that he is willing to what she's saying. He's showing the ritzui. There's no Maisi Kich of dibu. So that's why you need to speak before Maisi Kich of dibu. But how do you connect to what he did now? Now, at the moment when he gave, they were not busy in Kiddushin Mamash. They were talking other subjects. There was Amira talking about round Kiddushin when he gave, and then he says hen. Hen alone is not enough because it shows Rotzon. Amira before is not enough because how do you connect it to the Maisa Kiddushin? Because in the Asa Kiddushin, they were not busy in that subject exactly. So how do you connect? If you have Amira, not a Suki, but you have hen, it binds together. But what do we see from here? We see that the Kuntas Achon was already much earlier rabbi before the Chaim Alevi and the Birkat Shmuel. And he said that you need Amira Bekidushin mitzad Amaisa Kicha. Not like the Bach and the back and forth that they were saying that when I said hen, it's not clear that I want. So I need Dibur to show clear what I want. As to do with Rotzoin. Says, no! The Dibur Bakidush is not to show Rotzoin. The Dibur Bakidush is part of my Sekicha. You need a Dibur of my Sekicha. How do I have the Dibur before the my Sekicha to now? Because when I gave it was only Asukim, no Boisoin, and there was Asukim, but not that subject. So you have Amira, and I observe it, and you have Hein, even though Hein is not a Dibur, just Rotzoin, but I have, at the time of the giving, I had Rotzoin. And before I have Dibur, I connect the Dibur to now. And I really have a Dibur here. What do you want to say, Rabbi? Yes. Yes. Yes.
To say that hen and the dame to Shmuel. He beats us to sign, the guy says to Shmuel, he says hen. What is the halacha? The Rambam the short about halacha.
No.
He says it's like a Shmuel. So you see hen alone,
Like a Dibur.
That's only in
Good. So the Kodesh brings it down. 1 second. He answers, you know why the Beis Shmuel and the Bach didn't learn like me? They didn't learn that Hein means Rotzoin and not Dibur. He brings Shvuah, Ve'efshor the Svir, I mean, this is 7, 9, 11 lines go down. Ve'efshor the Svir, Bach came in Ashkan, so per Gimel Shuas. Oine Omen, Kemoy Teshuvim Piv, so the Hein doesn't mean Ritzui, the Hein means Dibur. But he's doichet, ach ze Einoi. The next, through 4 lines later down. 5 lines later down. Ve'efshor, and he's doichet, because he brings around in Kiddushin, not in Kiddushin, and Dorim Davov, that Hein only by Shvuah means Dibur. But anywhere else, Hein doesn't mean Dibur. Kriyash Shmer Tefillah, anywhere else, Hein doesn't mean Omen, it's not like Amira. It's only Din Protein in Shvuah, so therefore he's doichet. So that's why he doesn't like your spouse. So therefore he says Hein is only Ritzui. Since there's only Hein means Ritzui, you wish, where's the Dibur? Because the Din Amira mitzad Kicha. So that's why you need all that. It says, "V'lo idomi klal ekitcha begezel dido." V'omo hey, the man, and also lebayin amiro. That's what he says here between the woman and the husband. When I stole from the woman and I give her aram mekodesh sleep begezel's there, and she said yes. So there I need just her ritzui. I don't need her mira. She doesn't need amira. El ritzui yido be'ef v'afilu shodich me'ani. But here, when he says the hein, is not enough because I don't need ritzui by him. I need also amira. So So when I medaber imo, when it works medaber on asukim. But when I have medaber no asukim, I need the hein to connect. But if I medaber, then I start talking about other things. There's no proof from the first words on a nesina. When I said the word hen, so the Rayad Rama holds as medaber works only when asukim boisoinyan. But when I have medaber without asukim, I have nowhere to connect the medaber, and I need dibur. And the hein is out of dibur. If I have hein, and I have medaber, and I have asukim, and I have boisoinyan, so it connects the first dibur to be now. That's why I have dibur. I have dibur kiddushin, and that's how it works. Yes.
Connecting Mavarin.
אבל כשאומר הן, מהני דיבור הראשון לשם קידושין. Why? When I say yes, is first words before the kiddushin works, because there's a connection. I said yes, my rotzos continues. And there's a dibur, so I connect the words before, but I need dibur, and that's why, and that's the eight. So really, what do we got here? We have here Kutas Achoin. I don't know who he's here. If it's the Pnei Yoshua or the Ktsois, I don't know, the Makna, whatever it is. Way before, maybe 100 years or more before Reb Chaim HaLevi, that there is midin kicha, there's a din amira, mitzad kicha. That's all. Let's see the Meiri, and now we'll be ready to Mishnah Lamelech and Kiveger. Okay? Mishnah Lamelech and Kiveger, amazing. What do you want to say? Okay, good. In the Achronim world.
He's saying yes to what she said.
What?
What is that yes doing? It's saying what the woman said, and I'm saying yes to what you said, or is it saying yes to what we were talking about before? What's the yes?
The yes to what we talked about before is yes.
So what do you need the woman to say that I'm your wife for it? How does that? That's nothing to do with the picture.
Nothing to do. Adarabe. She needed room. She didn't destroy. I'm reading a Meiri, very important Meiri. Very, very, they say in Spanish, mucho, mucho importante. Meiri. Very, very important Meiri.
How do you know it's not connected with what she
There's two chidushim here, major chidushim in Meiri, which I want to speak about before we see the Mishnah Melech and the Kiveger. Number one.
What's the raya that's not going with what she said? Yes.
We say it goes on what she said, but because it was a dibur before, so then when he goes on her words as averitzui on what she said, I say forget about what she said. As long as there's a ritzui about what she says about the kiddushin, I use his words that he said before to the Chidush Amiri. I want people to see this Amiri is very important because there's a very, very a Rishon which speaks very clear. Nobody else that I saw speaks clear about the subject. This is careful. Oyo medaber imo aliski kiddusho vi imiter misrat esrei. V'nosal mifnei eidim lo shum dibur ba'olam. O ba'aleh arei ze mekudeshes. If somebody speaks to the woman in a business of kiddushin, and she agrees to him, and he gives her in front of eidim without any speaking, or he cohabitates her without any speaking, arei ze mekudeshes. V'dibur shebisi kiddusheh ubimkom arei mekudeshes li. This is the big chiddush of the Meiri. When I have asukim is not a gilui of his rotzon. Asukim is bimkom, an exchange of the dibur of the ma'isikicha v'amiro arei mekudeshes li. Achar shebish'as diburo imo. Since at the time that he spoke to her dibur, aliski kiddusheh nisratzas lo, she agreed to him. And the witnesses don't need to speak to them, to invite them. You don't need to say atemeidai. Elakol shekidesh b'fnei mekudeshes. Mekadesh in front of the mekudeshes. That's all. This thing is only dafka b'shem asuki binyan hakidushim. When they're busy in the subject of kiddushin, shelo yiposku meledaber binyan kiddushin. Never stop talking about kiddushin. Stop. They didn't stop to speak about kiddushin. What does he say here? The Meiri says, if a person's, guys, wake up. If a person speaks to a woman, and she agreed, and when he gives to her, she's silent, so then the speaking before is like speaking now. Exchange of speaking now. It's not a gilui that he wants to do kiddushin. There was only a gilui. How can the daberimo works instead of amira? I need amira midin kiika. So where the speaking before just shows his wish, how can the speaking before shows his wish can exchange when I have dibur mitzat kiika? The answer is the dibur before it's the kiika before, and now when he gives silence, I said the dibur before as long as sukim, which means there has to be a bridge, something connecting between what he spoke before and the speaking before, and then you have a sukim connects that the dibur before is an exchange of the dibur that I need now b'shas kiddushin. That's why the Kuzach learns I need the hein with medaberimo. That's what connects. If I have medaber and not a sukim, then I need the hein to connect. But if I have medaber and a sukim, the medaber connects to the nesim. We'll jump for a second. The next paragraph. Tzarich sheteda, you need to know. What? Silent, yes, silent. Yes. Now we need the next paragraph, very important, please, then we'll go back. Tzarich sheteda, you need to know. Sha'adibur b'isi kiddushel. The speaking in the business of kiddushin. Tzarich she'yeh b'loshoin. When he speaks about marriage, he can't talk about let's get married, let's build a home. It's not good. Let's get married, not good. Why?
You didn't say that.
You marry me. I want to marry you. Oh. Tzarich she'yeh b'loshoin. This is a big finish of the Miri. The Rish, one of the first Rishonim, it speaks very clear. Tzarich she'yeh b'loshoin. You need to have a lingua. You hear this, Alexander? She'yeh b'loshoin. You need a language. When he speaks about when medaberima works, when he used a language, a lingua, that if it was kiddushin right now, if the nesina was right now, would be kiddushin. Kegoin, for example, Shayon, I will tell her, do you want to be my wife? My wife means you're going to be, he's taking her to him.
Question, not a statement.
And she said yes. He said, want to be my wife? She says yes. Okay. Yes, but he has to say a language that it means the proper language of Kiddush. Or or any other language, amoilim that I help. The shiyeh loshoin. What's the word shiyeh loshoin? Lingua, language. Or be a lingua. What does lingua mean, Alexander? Loshoin. Sheloye b'makiach esatzmoi. The language is to be a proper language and not a language that he's taking himself to her. Not enough. I don't know. It's a different shayla. There's umdan and loshoin. There's different shayla. There's not us. We're gonna learn later on the sugya depths. One of the things I have to learn: can umdan tell me a loshoin? When I need loshoin kikach midin ma'isikicha, can umdan in the proper loshoin? Umdan tells me a proper loshoin. There's a concept of yad. Okay, that's not our subject right now. I need a loshoin that she'll be that it will be kiddush, will be good.
But she made it happen. He said, "You want to be?"
Yeah. Always when I say I'm kodeshly, she accepted. Where's the yes? She said yes.
There's a question, not a statement. You say you want to be my wife. That's a question, not a statement. You say you are my wife. That's a statement. You say you want to be. It's
when you can say a statement when it's done. You are my wife, and I'm giving it to you. I'm my wife. But in the future, you have to say, you will be my wife? You are willing to be my wife?
That's not a statement.
What is it?
It's a question.
Right.
That's not.
And she says yes.
So what?
And so that's enough. That's a lashon kiddushin.
That's enough, but it's not the thing.
Yeah, definitely. He didn't give her the money yet.
No, but he
didn't give her the money yet. He finalized the dibur, but not the nesina. Elo, he says, shetir kluya hiloim, has to be a language that she will be acquired to him. The kol shein okain, anywhere it's not so, just let's get married, let's build a home. No good. Eino klum, eino klum. It's nothing. She'ein dibur biski kiddushin moyo. The dibur of his kiddushin does not help. Only bamen where she'ein kiddushin atzom en moil bamen she'ein kiddushin atzom moilim. It wouldn't help if it doesn't help for kiddushin. Ken nireli baru. Rabbi Shmuel, what is needed to him? Baru. It's clear to him that what? That you need a language of kicha and how metaberim works, iske kiddushin. Because he had to have a lotion of kiddushin before. Ken nira li baru. Looks to him clear that when medaber. So what do we see from the Miri? If we summarize, makes sense that there was a Miri. Meiri is like a kutas achoy, like the Birkas Shmuel of Chaim Alevi. There is a din amira mitzat kiikach. There's a din amira in kicha. So where if I have, that's all Birkas Shmuel, right? If you learn Birkas Shmuel, we have to learn it soon, Bezrat Hashem, in the Sugya Basuki, which is the week next week, Bezrat Hashem. That it talks about loshon of yad on umdana by nedorim umdana in aleph oise doing oise maisa amira. So therefore he says, since you're doing a maisa of kiikach, maisa of amir of kiikach, so how can asukim oise amira before an asukim be when I give here plank? How can that create maisa amir of kicha? Elama, you know my wish. Knowing my wish is not enough. You need maisa amira of kicha. Where's the maisa amira? That's what the Miri says. What, Rabbi? You need to have a loshon amoil for kiddushin. And that's what Miri says in the beginning. What do you read? He says, "Dibur biskudishehu bimkom aran mekudeshesli." When you have medaber, is exchanging everything. If exchanging, you need to have loshon of kicha. Yes, Rabbi. Yes.
Now, he says, hey.
Yes.
Now, if you say...
No sanhu, yes, and he says yes, yes. Yes.
Works, it doesn't work.
According to the Meiri and the Kutas Achon will not work. Why? Because hein means rotzoin, and I don't have a dibur of kicha. That's exactly enough kicha. This Kutas Achon and Meiri is an afkamin on the whole B'kashur of Chaim Alevi. And who brings this raya? Chaim Alevi himself. What's his raya? There's in Siman Aleph. There's a din amir in Kiddushin. Says, why the Rosh and the Ramo holds when I say hey, it works. Ein is how just Rotzen, I agree to what you said. And why you need Metaberimo? That's his whole piece in Siman Aleph. And he says, very simple. You need Amira. And the Ein is just a Rotzen. You have the connection. That's all because if I remember correctly, right, Rabbi? He brings this the Rosh when I say hey. Won't work only if you have medaberim, and those are holes that he says hey works. Takedibu, because the whole looks like a dibu. Say may I have a dibu, and he said I need the dibu. That will be enough keeping it for any dibu. But anyhow, those are the realms of dibu. Comes the Mishnah Melech in page 10. You have the Mishnah Melech in Daf Tet. In Slabot Keshitz. We have Mishnah Melech. He will have. And who doesn't have? Give around. Very important. He brings the same thing, the two. And let's see how we translate the two and how Kivega translate. You have Mishnah Melech, big people, right? Mishnah Melech and Kivega, the two giants in the last 300 years of the Jewish people, 400 years. What? Mishle Melech was Rabbi Rosenais. Rosenais, he was in Turkey. He was one of the Gdoila Ador. He expelled an exile from the Spanish Inquisition. He was one of the leftovers of the Gdoilim that transferred from Spain to the rest of Europe. Yes, a little bit after. Pashas Drochim, Tzeladerech, big guy, Mishle Melech. My father, bless his memory, used to be very excited on Mishle Melech, right? Mishle Melech was like one of the biggest Lumdisha books. It is, you see, it's
All of a sudden, there's a few pages.
right, 3-4 pages on Mishle Melech, right? Unbelievable. The Himnos Anu V'Omu Hi Arizim Kodesh Misofik. Ochi Amrin Perekam Kiddushi. Nos Anu V'Omu Hi Sveike Ahave V'Chashiv D'Rabon. Because of Atu. V'Himnos Anu V'Omu Hi Im Oyo Medaber Ima Leske Kiddushea V'Vadai Kiddushi. First of all, if he gives and she speaks, but they were busy on Kiddushin before. This Kiddushin before, it's Vadai Kiddushin. V'im Lav Avesov Kiddushin. Because of Arama, Yad Rama, V'Kol Shekein, in Ono Abal Hein, Mishasisi. Almost so, again, the Gemara says if he gives and she speaks as a suffix. Comes the Tur and he says, if he gives and she speaks with the Wasukim, or Medaberim or the Wasukim, will be Vadai Kiddushi. And the Yad Rama says, Kol Shekein, if Ono Abal Hein, because if the Baal answered yes on her speech in the time of the Sina, the Avuvadai Kiddushi, but he says 5 more words, 6 more words. Afilu im en asukim boisuinin, even if they're not busy in that subject. What does that mean? So here we have the Bach, the Beis Shmuel, and the Kutas Achon. They learned that if I have Nosanu Vomroi, and he said yes, Kol Shekina works, even though they're not busy. They're not busy in the time of the giving. What does it mean not busy? But they spoke before, just not busy. That's what the Bach says. So if they spoke before, just not busy, so why do I need Hain? The Bach says because maybe Hain means love. It's not true. We know such story. So the Kurzan says no. You know why I need a Hain? Because the Medaber, then the one that's Suki Boy Sinyan says stop. So there's no connection between the Daber and when he gives and she speaks. That's when you have to have Hain that he wants it. And Hain is not a Dibur, but Hain is a wants it. Then the Dibur that is Medaber before, like the Miri says, you have a real Loshan Dibur, and you have to have proper Loshan Dibur. Areatishti, when you have Medaber was a proper Loshan, and even though afterwards was just Asuki, not Boy Soinyan, and he said, Hain, we can connect. This was who? The Kuntasach. Comes the Mishle Melech. And he says, because Amaram Bes Yosef, Tanis Tabu, V'lichoyro nire. Comes the Mishle Melech, he says, Lichoyro nire. The Soiver Ayad Rama, the Tamo de Misapkol Benosanu Vomroi, Ainu Mishum Du Nosan Stam V'lo Noida Neshekirush Pikon Matono. He says, you know what Pshani Yad Rama? How the Yad Rama learns that when he gives and she speaks, why the Gemara has a doubt? What are the two tzaddim? What is the side that won't work when she speaks? Because when he gives stam, he didn't speak and she spoke, we worry maybe he didn't give us a kiddushin, maybe for a deposit, maybe for a gift. When she says, I'm engaged to you with this, maybe he didn't care about words. Maybe he didn't care about her words, and the shtika doesn't mean, shtika doesn't care about her. Shumochi, that's why the Yad Rama said Kol Shekein. When he said yes to her words, means he does care about her words. So we remove the worry, maybe it's because of Matoma, the Mekudeshes Vaday. Again, comes the Mishle Melech and he says, you know why the Yad Rama says hey? Because when he give and she speaks, who says when he gave plank, no speaking? He didn't speak, she spoke, but he didn't do any speaking. So maybe he's giving matona, mitzad his mice. How she speaks, he doesn't care about what she speaks. I don't know he cares, he has a relation with her. When he says yes, So without saying yes, we have a suffix. Why the Gemara says lo sanu v'amroi? Suffix. What's at side is now good because maybe he doesn't care about a word and he gave l'shem pikod matona. When he say hey, there's v'anei mikudeshes. Comes the Mishnah Melech, he brings a guy to this side. The time shouldn't be sapkol. If you're going to say like the kuntas achroin, if you're going to say like they play Yoshua or they have the million whatever it's kuntas achroin, the mishum, the time of mishum be sapkol. The chibayinon yikach who shamiran ganken yeshaloi. If you want to say no, when it says kikach, we have a suffix. What is kikach? Ikar is an Asin and Amira is just a Gilu, it was not part of the Maisek Kicha. Oh no, I also need Amira. So when he gave and she spoke, I don't have one side I have, because he gave, I have the Nesina, that's Kikar. And when she speaks and he's silent means he agrees, he knows he wants it. So you have the Rotzoin, but Mitzad the Maisek Kikar is the Nesina. So he's Mekayim Dikir by Nesina. Oh no, you need Amira. And Amira you don't have. If that's the Sofei of the Gemara, well, like if he says yes, I have to erase the vav there. Through her speaking, and I am because he just said yes to her, rotzon to her, she's just agreeing to her. So where's the Maisa Amira? How the Kuntras Achon answered it? He followed the Duke of the Bach that when Medaberim without asuking, and they ain't show just Rotzoin, and the Medaberim used the proper lotion, and the Medaberim was a deep. That's the way the Kuntras Achon answered it. But the Mishnah Melech is not Medai, because if you look in the lotion of the tool that he quotes, Afilim hein asuki boisuin. Okay, you can see he still can say the Duke of the Bach, but somehow he didn't follow the Duke of the Bach and Kudasachon. He understood that the case of the Adrama is no sanu v'amroi, and when he say hen v'avei mekudesh, why v'avei? Must be that the whole suffix is he doesn't care about her. Maybe kiddush and matana. When he say hen, you know it's ritzun. But if you need dibur of amaisekicha, where's the dibur of amaisekicha? Where's the dibur of amaisekicha? When he say hen, he's just agreeing to her. Where's the dibur of amaisekicha? What? That there was Dibur before, but he wasn't Medai those Dibur before. Maybe he wasn't Medai the Kuntas Acho in the Bachs, the Yukim, that there were not a Sukim Boisoiyim, but was a Dibur. That's an unknown factor that he shoved into the Adrama. In the Medai, it says Afilo in Asukim. So why didn't he talk about Nas? Why didn't he talk about the Dibur? The Mishnah Asukim means not Asukim, not Dibur. Nothing. Afilo and Asukim know nothing. He learns and Asukim Badavka, but Dibur was. That's the difference in the deal, right? That's the Machlokes and the Medai. And amazingly, the Reb Kiva Eiger inside Afilo, right? Afilo men Asukim Boisuin, right? Yeah, but the Kukushin, it's a buzzword. When I say Afilo and Asukim, it means that there was nothing before, or Asukim Boisuin Badavka, but it was still Dibur. So that's a Shaili Medayik here. The Bach understood that, and he understood simply means nothing before. Let's see the Kiva Eiger. The Kiva Eiger is Moichiach against the Mishnah Melech. It doesn't explain what is the Pshat in the Yad Ramah, and here we want to say few options.
Say he didn't say no by saying yes. He didn't say no when she said that it is. Your wife, he didn't say no by saying yes. It's not saying no, and therefore.
Again, I didn't follow the yes and no, no and yes.
Because if he says yes, it means he's not saying no. When she said your wife with the money you gave me,
yes.
If he didn't say no, if he wasn't wanting to marry her, you'd have to say no. I don't accept what you're saying. To be saying yes,
it's just to be silent.
Yeah, but he said yes.
I'm saying, what happened if you be silent? Be the same?
Because
why not?
Because then you don't know how.
If I want no, I should say no, and it say no means yes. Why suffix? Why was silence? Vadai. Shtika go. I don't know. Shtika go do.
That's only a possibility.
What's the other possibility? You don't care about her. Shtika means when I need to relate to you, when I'm silent, I don't need to relate to you. My silence doesn't mean anything. That's a suffix here. When I say yes, that's what the way the Mishnah Melech is learning. Okay, that's the way the Mishnah Melech is learning. Let's see the Reb Kiva Eiger. Reb Kiva Eiger knocks out the Mishnah Melech's pshat by proving in concept that the vada is a relationship. That when she speaks and he's silent, vada means yes. You don't need to say yes to say yes. So what is the yes for? That's it. That's what he points. So let's see what he says. But he doesn't explain what pshat in the Yad Ramah. So today, when we finish this, Mizrat Hashem, I want to explain. Want to analyze what we have here in options in Svaras. What we have after we finish the Kiveg. Let's see the Siyat Nishma. What? Yes. The whole Birkas Shmuel, when he wants to prove the Din Amir, he starts with this. You have a Birkas Shmuel here? Bring a Birkas Shmuel, please. The pivotal point, the first move, the pawn, how do you call it? Pawn, king forward, pawn to king forward. The forward, whatever it is, you understand what I mean? You have Ritzu, you have Kavon, you know what I want to say. But he brings Verayloze. What's the Raya? There's a Din Amir. Isa b'teras Gitim u'Reb Kiva Eiger. The Menchazin and the Baom Aruv and Nosnei Bodem Choshu Mikudeshes. Not saying Omorein. I thought he bought the Rosh. He did. Let's see. Well, let me read the Baom. He says if he spoke, the Baom Aruv and she gave. Bodem Choshu Mikudeshes. Why Bodem Choshu Mikudeshes? Bakod the Tzorlam and Nosnei al de Amira Didei. Okay. She gave and he spoke. Bodam Choshu Mikudeshes must be the Shenosni al de Amira Didei, when she gives and he speaks, Anam Saade, I have witnesses that she agreed. Now he brings. When you have opposite, Nosanu Vamoi, if he gives and she speaks, Einu Kudeshes, Afal Gav, even though the Vada and Anam Saade and Istratza, Vada is Anam Saade, he agreed. Again. When she gives and he speaks, she gives to him and he speaks Vodam Choshu, we say that since he spoke under her Amira, we assume that Vada she agreed. She gave and he spoke. He spoke under her Nesina, so therefore we assume that when she gives through his Amira, she agreed.
Some say that she has to say a Kaddish.
Some say has to repeat. Rashi, Rambam says has to repeat. Some don't. Yes, I know that. You learned it's not so simple. Right, but that's what he says. I wanted to go the structure what they bring as a raya. The Birkas Shmuel wants to bring a raya. How do I know that there is a Din Amira mitzad kicha of Kiddushi? Maise kicha is the Amira. How do we know that? So he brings the raya. What's his raya? The raya knows it. He brought 1,000 rayas. That's the raya he brings. The raya he brings in the name of the Teras Gitin and the Kiva Eiger, that when she gives to Adam Choshu and he speaks to her upon what she gave, we assume she agreed. Same thing is when he gives and she spoke, he gave upon what she spoke. So Vadai Anan Saadei that he agreed on what she spoke because he gave upon what she spoke. Nosan Uvamrei. Vechein afil Omarein. He gave, she spoke, and he said yes. Kosav v'seis of the loy man das Rosh. The Rosh argues on the Yad Ramah. It doesn't work. According to what we're saying, even the Yad Ramah agrees to it, because only if you have Amira before. But if you don't have Amira, just hang alone, it's not working. It doesn't work. Afal gav the elecha umdana the muchach yosem mizeh. You have clear umdana that he wants it. He gave, she spoke, and he said yes. This is the guy. V'arei adin ritzuyoy. So you have ritzuy. That was the kuntas achoy. He said, hey, there's ritzuy. But he said, there's no din ritzon alone in Kiddushin. In Amira. And the Kiddushin ma'inan she'yoichoche b'diburoi. In a proof in his words, or b'maisav, gabei didei, or his action through himself, Mixeras Akosu, the Krieger. Even though I know his wish and his rotzo and his das and his rotzo without speaking. Since there's not enough das and kavanas koine like all the other kinyonim, should have mixeras Akosu Krieger. The Abir would be the Bilvad Dina das, when Mishum Kinyon. Bain no das, Richteshi, Maise Kiddushin. ולזה גזרה סקוסו שלא יהיה מייסי קידושי בדייתו של בעל לחוד. אלא בינו גם מייסי כחדידי, ואז זה בינו חוכר בדיבור או במייסו. In brings the ritmo. The concept of Yad. So what is he saying? Israel is this case. Israel is that when I have Nosanu, Vom Roi, and he said yes. There's any suffix that he wants the Kiddushi? You know that he wants the Kiddushi. What? Like the Mishnah Melech says, I said hen, so Vadai. So the Balamo, according to the Mishnah Melech, Pshat and the Yad Rama works. He doesn't hold this in Din Dibu. That's what he holds. He just needs the Ritzu. But the Kuntrasach had learned that you need Dibur Bedaberim, or only then works. Like the Rosh, that Hein alone is not enough. You need Dibur. Why Hein is not enough? Those who hold the Hein is not enough. Shaila, who holds like that? The Rosh definitely holds Hein is not enough. In the Yad Rama's Machlekes Achroini, what the Yad Rama holds. The Kuntrasach learns that Hein doesn't work. Because only Ritzu, you need Dibur before Medaberimo. Right? That's the Kunazach. He learns you need Ein doesn't work. The also the Shmuel was like that. The Mishnah Melech learned that Ein works. Because I don't need Dibur. That's his own Mishnah Melech. If Dibur, why doesn't it work? He's saying must be that the Adrama holds there's no Dibur. But the Birka Shmuel brings down, since the Rosh holds that Ein does not work, must be, he's a din dibur. So I said yesterday to the boys that does the Birka Shmuel say that everybody needs to hold like him? Or he's just saying that there are shittas like that. And maybe I can solve this opinion. Shittas, I think the shittas is saying shittas. It's not saying everybody holds, there's a din amira mitzat kiikach. Everybody holds that you need kiikach. It's not enough Maisa Kinyan Kesef or Das of Kinyan Kesef. The question is where the kiikach goes. Only on the Maisa Nesina, and Dibur is just a Gilui. There's no Din Amira mitzad the Maisa Kicha. Oh no! There's also Din Dibur mitzad the Maisa Kicha. So he brought a raya from the Rosh. And according to us, even about the Yad Rama holds like that, according to the Kuta Sachon, not according to the Mishle Melech, we see Surib Kiveger. The Balamoy, there's a Din Amirai. The Balama, but we said a Hakira. That's what the beginning of the shield. The Mama holds that the Dibur was to Mevarer for the husband that he's doing a Maise Kicha Bo, that she's Barer him that he is a Maise Bo. But no, but his point is you need a Dibur to mispoinen that for the Eidim and for the Isha and to the Baal, he has to express clear that's what he's doing. He's doing a Maise Kicha. Maise Badash, and he has to speak about it, and the speaking is for the goal of the Gavrim himself. But there's another svot to say not like that. That besides Gilui for himself, we brought the Meir in the beginning of the Masechta, it's the way that we want to bind this partnership, this relationship of marriage, which is a partnership, the way it needs to be done, that he's taking her. That's the way it needs to be format. So it's not a Gilui for himself and the woman eating. She's pointing she's pointing a Baal, right? She's pointing that the Baal needs to be pointing. It's not a Baal needs to be pointing. A Baal needs not to be pointing. The Baal needs to do an act when he's pointing the partnership. He shows that he's the ruler. He has to make an act of a ruler for the benefit of the relationship, as the Baal Miri explains. Otherwise, she run away. She was mezane. She's not only she could do in the dorim. She always saw a body to him. In order to be set up the proper relationship in this partnership, these issues, has to be that he shows that he's the manik. Although he's equal to her, but he's equal only, and the way would work this equality when he's in the position that he's the ruler.
You still need a dibur.
Yeah.
Suffer,
Yeah, but but not in order to be spoiling for the Chabal is spoiling. It's the woman who is spoiling. The woman to hear and to understand that this is the type of relation they have. It's a little bit different. Yes.
They take her out of the house.
Right.
Says,
I agree. By Shiluchin, the Balamoy makes more sense. That like we see Meshalik Choseres, the husband needs to know that he's doing a Maise Gomo, mispoinen. So Kiddushin, that's what it looks like. But those who say you need a mir mitzatkicha, not necessarily they're saying the goal is a goal on the gavra, the gavra mispoinen. No, the goal is that this is the type of relationship you're going to have. To have a relationship that he's the ruler. That's a type of a partnership. A partnership that there is a ruler and there is a partner. Both are partners. But the setup is that he's the ruler and she's a partner. Yeah, but it's not that the husband is pointing to himself. Okay. If Kiva Eger says, let's see what Kiva Eger, he knocks out the Mishle Melech, he quotes the Mishle Melech, and he brings that eye against him, but he doesn't explain what is the Pshat. Therefore, the Pshat can be open. Let's see. Kiva Eger is a Daf Yud and the Slavot Kasius. Daf Yud. He quotes the Mishle Melech. He now we go 2, 4, 6, 8 lines at the beginning of the Kiva Eger. He says, "Wa Mishle Melech." Elo. He conclude. The Zeurak, the Pshat of the Adrama is only when I'm reading the Kiva Eger in Daf Yud and Slavot Kashitz 10 lines down, the right column. ובמשל למלך אלו, וזהו דווקא רק, וזהו רק אם נפורש, דספי כאווה אם נוסן הבעלה של קידושין ולשם התונה. He says to understand why the Yad Ramah holds that when I say yes, hey, the husband says, Nosan uvamoi, and he says yes. It's Vaday Kiddushin. It's only when the whole suburb, Nosan uvamoi, the subject was, is imen lematon l'shem Kiddushin. The Seiku. Im l'shem aton, l'shem Kiddush, l'shem aton. אבל אם נפורש זה הסופק הוא כיוון שנגמר בדיבורו, וכל כי תילוקח, you have to erase the word lamed. Ave ki tilokach. As like she took him. Gam ben yes abal halo man. He says if the shaila is when she speaks the chesoron dibur of kiika, so even when he says hey, it's just he's agreeing to her words. There's her words. When the answering hey, amen. True. But she's the leader. Okay, exactly. Here's the right. If the goal is like the what's his name? Like the Balamoy that has to be bohu. It's bohu when he says hey, it's not bohu, Rabbi. When he says hey, it's not bohu to him. When he says yes, it's not clear that he's doing my Kiddushin. It's clear. It's only Chesron Netzura that he's answering to her. He's saying amen to her words. There's no, it's not Chesron Nebrius. So no, we say no. There is a site to say that Hein is not enough because you need Dibur that he's there to be the ruler. Not clear. Clear is not enough. Rabbi, you know what somebody needs Dibur. So he said that. Right. So comes the Mishnah Melech, he says, don't learn, according to the Yad Ramah, that the suffix was Isoran in the Loshon of Kiikach, Maise Kicha in the Loshon. Because if that's so, why hand works? Must be that suffix not mitzvah when she speaks not Isoran in Loshon of Kiikach, of Loshon Kiikach, and the Maise Kicha of Loshon. No, it's a Chisoran, you don't know what he means. But when you know what he means, says a hand, well, that works.
He gives it, she talks. And then
yes. What? Yes.
He says, Nigba Dibura when she talks. No. He says, hey, this is Nigba Dibura.
But upon her. But it's upon her. I know what you're saying. But it's upon her. Yes, upon her. Yes. And I say amen. Yes.
So who does it?
Right. But what happened if you have a Nazi? You have a Pikoyer that says the boy says Amen. It works? No. No, you're not in Amen. Not in Amen. He's a Mekala, he's not Mevorich Hashem. But he's saying Amen on your own, not on your own. You say Amen on him. And if he's no good, it's no good. It's Amen on him, not on yourself. Very clear. Comes the Kiva Eger and says not true. He brings the Raya not true. ולפי מה שכוספתי הדרישה, לפי מה שכוסף הדרישה, בכל שם משפט. בדעת הטור, he says, I will prove you from another tool that also holds like the Adrama. Another tool says something else. What the tool says? לפי מה שכוסף הדרישה, בכל שם משפט, בדעת הטור שכוסף. ונוסן מונו לפלויני, if she gives money to somebody else, ויסוד מחול לחוס מדין עורב. I say, give money to him and I will sell myself to you. Again, the buyer tells the seller, sorry. Yeah. The buyer tells the seller, give the sorry, opposite. The seller tells the buyer, give money to somebody else, and as if you give it to me, but you rely on my word to give it, and that I received money from you, and I want to sell you my land. 10 money the ploni v'yesodi mechulachon, my field will be sold to you. So tzorich shoyim arloikeach. This is what you brought down Rebbe Machloikes. You need to the lokeach, the buyer needs to say sodi mechulachon v'shete. It's not enough that he gives. If the seller said give money, and as if I received the money, it's not enough. When the buyer gives the money to somebody else, he has to say by me giving the money to else, as if I give you the money. Afterwards, the same two says that if the moicher gave money to the seller, normally the buyer needs to give the money to the seller. Here the seller gave money to the buyer, but he was an important person. My field will be sold to you for the pleasure that you receive from me. But the buyer didn't say yes. He didn't say your field will be sold to me with the pleasure that I receive from you. Why he didn't say that? Because of Adrisha, he makes a chiluk, and this is very important for us. When the seller told the buyer, give somebody else money, so the money didn't transfer between the seller and the buyer, went to a third party. So then, maybe I gave matana to third party without your commitment. I have to go back and say it. That is for that. I give somebody else money for what you said. Which is between the two people. That the buyer gave the pleasure to the seller by receiving money from the seller, and the seller said, "I'm giving it to you, and you're going to receive it for the sake of the selling." And you were silent. It's clear that he agrees. He is very clear that when the money goes between two people, when he gives and she spoke. There's no svara. He's giving for the sake of gift. She says, I'm receiving the kiddushin. He gave it to her. Is maskim, agrees to it. Only by a third party, I need to go back and clarify for the sake of that. And it's not for matana. But between buyer and seller, husband and wife, doesn't matter between those two, there's no avamin will be for the sake of matana. Al kochoch, all the kiddushin sveikave. Why no sanuv is a suffix? Not because like the Mishnah Melech there's a side of matana. No such havamin is between those two, because it's like a matter of language. Shema doimelekiyik tikakim. He says must be the shaila is in the amira.
They could argue with that because he said one he's comparing buying and selling with dinei mamon to.
Yeah, but the Gemara compares. The Gemara Davov Zayin. Odom Choshuv Orev V'chen B'Mecher. Look at the Gemara. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to us. Why I was very excited with the Kiva, because this opens the book again. What happened here? We have the Perush of the Kuntas Achron, Pshat in the Yad Ramah, the Din Dibu, that when I say Hein means what? I agree. So I need Dibu. Where's the Dibu? Medaber, without a Sukim and Hein, binds together, but I have a Dibu, and we brought the Meiri, that Medaberimo, he said a proper language. It's being coined, but it has to be a proper language. Great. But the Kiva Eger follows the logic of the Diuk, the way the Mishnah Melech is learning in Yad Ramah. That Ein Asuki means no Asuki, no Dibu, nothing. No Sanu Vomroi, and he said yes. So he says, don't say why you need yes, because we have a Sofek, maybe L'Shem Atone. Between him and her, money was transferred, there's no Avamina Maton. If she spoke, if he gave it, she spoke, Vada he agrees. There's a between those two. And definitely when he say yes. Well, the problem is in the language. Good. So how Hain solves the language? So the question comes back, the Rosh is right. He did Amira. Hain shouldn't work. Definitely. That definitely, yes. But I want to solve 1 second. I know Rashi. When you get to Rashi, 1 second. First, I want to explain the problem. The Reb Kiva Eger marked out the Mishnah Melech. Great. But he didn't give a solution. The Kuntas Achron gave a solution that when he gives and she speaks and says yes, it's only Rotzoin. Where's the Dibur? That's when he medaber. But the Mishnah Melech didn't medayek she'en asukim was Dibur. En asukim is no asukim and no Dibur bichlal. And it was only in the scene and Amir of her, and he said yes. The Rosh says doesn't work, but the Baal HaMoel, according to the Yad Ramah, according to Kiva Eger, works, and it works within Dibur. How can it work within Dibur? You hear my problem, Rabbi? How can it work with the Kasher, Mishnah Melech, and himself? Okay, you knocked out the Mishnah Melech. Great. You knocked him out. Great. How are you going to solve the problem? Must be the Din Kicha and Amira. But how, when he gives and she speaks and he says yes, how can the yes mean Dibur, my Kicha of Dibur? There's only yes on her. How does it work? What? And you can't say Ome means like full Dibur. Why you can't say that? Because only by Shvuah, the Kuntras Moraraya, we say Omen is like Medaber, the full Dibur. But anywhere else, which is not true, Kriya Shema in other places, we don't say that. So why here the Baal HaMoel, the Shulchan, the Yad Ramah, the two, that's the halacha. We have the Maisa, that's the halacha. The halacha, Shulchan Aruch, halacha la Maisa, the truth, the way we act. Everything is truth, but the truth, the way we act in our world, in this 1,500 years, we learn the Shulchan Aruch that when Nosanu V'Amrohi and says, hey, it works. And even though we hold like the Kiva Eger and like the Birka Shmuel, that is a din Amira, right? Kiva Eger is Meichiach, not din Ritzui. Even without the Hein, I have Ritzui, because the money went between them. So when he gives and she speaks, Vada he agrees. No, I mean Hashem Atona. Yet I need a Hein, Nisad the Dibur. How can a Hein resolve the Dibur? It's only in agreeing. I don't have a Dibur. So what are we going to say now? There's a Machloikes here. Why? What's it? So the Kash is the answer, but what if they Magdi? You know that. How we Magdi this? I want to Magdi is like this. He says it was the Medaber before. He learned there's no Asukim Boisoinim, but was a Dibur. When the Ramos says it was a real Dibur before, like the Miri, Mamish Dibur before. But the Kiva Eger and Amish Levich, the one that died, they learned that the two Omareng ve'afilu en Asukim means no Asukim and no Medaber, nothing. So how can Hein works? Okay, I need Dibur, but how can it? It's only an agreement. So I'm saying like this. This is always like this. I think this is the scholar. It's really hakira and understanding what is the Maaseh Dibur mitzad dekicha. Okay, so my understanding, the way the Yad Ramah, Kiveyu will learn the Yad Ramah is as follows. Definitely you need Dibur mitzad Maaseh kicha. When I give a woman money, so I do a Maaseh kicha. It's not enough. I need a Dibur. Why I need a Dibur? Because I need to be the initiator, the Megale. I need to be the one to Megale that I'm doing the Kiddushi.
She has to know whether you.
She has to know, yes.
But that's what the function is.
But the Kiikach needs to be that the Gilo has to come from him. So my understanding is like this: when he gives and he speaks, so he gave the money and he spoke. So he did a dibur of Amaisa. When he gives, he speaks. What's the side? The suffering anymore. And Rashi says, "Nosanu domi likikach. Nosanu domi. It's only a doime. We spoke about last week. It's only doime lechitikach isholish. Why is only a doime? Because definitely, which is only there's a side. No, the side Aval P that he gave and she spoke. But since the Iker is the Nesina, so when he gives, and in the moment he gives, she speaks, and he doesn't retract his giving. Say, hey, he takes it back. He didn't take it back. While he's giving, she's speaking. He didn't give it back. So therefore, he's still the controller of the Maisa. That's the side. It's a suffering anymore. When the Ramos says Vadai Kiddushin, when he gives and she speaks and he says yes, so therefore he's the ruler of the giving. He is the one that controls on the story. Why? Because he gave, and when she spoke, he didn't pull back, and now already said yes. So therefore, it's Megala and the Maisa Nesina that I have a Maisa Nesina for the Kiyikach. So instead of saying when he says yes, I'm separating the Nesina from the Dibu, and only in the world of Dibu she's speaking, and he says yes to her, so he's only saying yes to her. So she didn't do a Maisa Kicha. I'm saying no. I'm putting the yes together with a Maisa Nesina. When he does a Maisa Nesina of giving the money, and she speaks, he didn't put her back. So therefore, there's a side of the Gemara, because when Nosanu Vamori is a suffix in the Gemara, there's a side that it works, side doesn't work. What is the side that it works? Where's the Kiyikach? There's only Domi Lechitikach. But there's a side, there's only Domi. Why? Because since he gave and she spoke, you pull it back. So he's the controller, he's the initiator. Because he's the one that's giving the money, he's starting the story, that's the main. So now when he says yes to her words, I say, Dalma her words, his Maisa that he did a Maisa Kicha with the giving, and he was the initiator. And then he said yes. So I'm putting the yes together with his Maisa giving, therefore her words doesn't care. That's why then he says, Avada Kiddushi. As Mafkia Damra. That's her words, when she spoke, it doesn't destroy that he's the initiator. We need Kiyikach that needs to be initiated. He's the one that needs to be to rule the story. If you need to rule this also, here what I have. When he's giving the money, there's a suffering moment. Maybe she spoke and she destroyed it, she did part of the Yikach. Or no, since he gave the money and she speaks, but he can pull back the money, she's still doing the Kiyikach. But comes the Ramo Kosekin, when we know will be Vadei Kiddushin. When he gave and she spoke, he pulled it back, and he said yes. So I have Kicha Mitzad is the ruler of the giving, and he also said yes. So we know definitely that his Maisa, it's a complete Maisa of him. He's doing it all. No. When I say he built on, once I'm answering you. When I say I build on her, it's a problem. When I separate the Maisa and the Sina with the Dibul. So the Maisa Sina is one thing, like the Granat learned. There's Chetzi. I take Maisa Kich as two parts, as a Maisa and a Sina Skesef, and as a Dibul. I say no. There's still a sign in the Gemara that when he gives her, she speaks, it does. Her words are not destroying. It's still considered Kiyikach. It's a sovereign Gemara, sovereign Mekudesh, right? According to the Ibay how can we have when he gives her, she speaks? There's a sign in Mekudeshes. How's the Mekudeshes? Where's the Kiyikach? The sovereign is about Kiyikach. No, we know the Kiyikach. We know the din of the Kiyikach, but we don't care. It's not doimen. It's a side and it's doimen lechitikach. Ish. Oh no, the other side of the Gemara, there's still Kiyikach. Because since he gave and she speaks and he's the one that initiated giving, and he can pull back the giving, so he's the one that can see initiating. So therefore, that is suffering him. Comes the Rama when there's no suffix, when he speaks, although he speaks above her, but he's the one that gave. He initiated giving. He started Maisa Kicha. Now she speaks and he said, hey, so I have giving and him speaking on his Maisa giving. So her words doesn't bother him. So therefore, there's a father of a kiddushi. Understand? Those are the two tzaddim. No, he's not building on her. He's building on his Maisa Kicha. Why not? The same svara when she speaks. I'm explaining. No, the same svara when he gives and she speaks. We still say Maisa Kicha here. He didn't speak. and you need speaking to my sekicha. I saying no, he can pull it back. Says to my sekicha. So surely when he says hein on his my sekicha and his giving, well, I have a full my sekicha. That's the coaching of the Rama. Even though I'm not speaking before. It's a svara. That's a svara. I'm saying svara. That's his coaching. Okay. Musos. Okay, what we want to do next week, Bezrat Hashem, I want to do two things, Bezrat Hashem. First, we have to learn more of the papers here. Go over this, what I said before. There is Avnei Miluim here, but I want to start going in to the Birkas Shmuel. And if we have a Birkas Shmuel here, Reb Shmuel, you want to give me the Birkas Shmuel that you have for a second? I'm sorry, I'll wake you up. I mean, cut you up. Just 1 second. Okay. I want to go through we're going to go over Siman Aleph against Sif Aleph, that's for sure. Then we went to the Rashba. Okay? Rashba in our Sugya. And I started speaking about it, but I jumped somehow because I diverted. The Meiri says that when you have Asukim, there's no problem of Atemeidai. You don't have to say Atemeidai. Okay? So the Rashba, his whole world here is the Eidim. No Sanu Vamroi, the Eidim don't know. Asukim is the problem of Eidim. He's dealing with the whole subject here. The Sugi is about Eidim. Okay? And the Birkas Shmuel speaks about this Rashba. So he's talking about Yodo is clear what he means. That's in Siman Aleph. He speaks about it. Next week is time that says as well. It's all the same subject. What? Yes, her and him. The Rashba is Suki here. It's in the papers. Yeah, that's better. Shkoyach, give that in. Shkoyach, I appreciate it. Oh, sound my problem. I'm jumping between the thing. Let's see here 1 second, because I want to tell you exactly what I want to go over. My big tachlis is I have to see where the Birkas Shmuel speaks about it. But in the papers, you have Shita Sarashba, okay? Shita Sarashba, we have to clarify. He learns the whole sugya. There's a chesoron of Eidim. Eidim makes the Maisa Kiddushin Eidikiyun, and Nosanu Vamroi. It's always Chisoron and Eidim. He pushes the whole story with Eidim. Asuk with Eidim, the whole thing is the Eidim. That's the whole thing here. So we have to see who speaks about it. Definitely somewhere here in Siman Aleph he speaks about Dina Mira. He speaks about the Dibur Mitzad Yodois or Loshoin. And I cannot make from Umden a Loshoin because I needed Loshoin Din Kicha. That's his thing. And he goes to Dvorim Shabalev through the Shita Sarashbo. That when we say Dvorim Shabalev have a Dvorim or not. Right? Then, what?
That's where he says help for her.
Yes. Goes through the Sugi V'Daim and Din Dibur. The difference between Dibur of Kiddushin and Dibur of the Dogim Nazirus. So, question is when there's a yad, it's enough for Eidim. That's his subject. In the end of Siman Aleph, he speaks about when I have a yad or Klein Adova is enough for Eidim. But consider Maisa Kiddushin. This is our Rashba now, Sugi. Okay? So we do the Rashba, maybe I'll find Kamener. I will learn a little bit inside of the Kashmir. I want to do that again to clarify that point. But it's in the papers. In the papers, you have the Rashba. It's in page, I think it starts with page Daled. Yes, page Daled. Maybe as long as there's a chashash or maton, there's no eidim. It's kavana salev, there's no eidus. I need eidus. This all Chuvas Rashbo and Rashbo, and that's what the Rashbo in all Sugya. Okay, he shoves in the whole din of Eidim. A couple of Rashbos, I know that, couple of them. So we have to learn all of them. Basically, I want to go through Shitas Rashbo because it's another way of the Sugya. The way we learned Dibur, we learned the Shematona, and now we have to learn Eidus, Cheson of Eidim. Okay, so those are the three major studim in the Sugya. So you have to explore that side. Okay, see the Rishon. Okay, Musa Shin. Siyata Nishmai. Wanted to speak about, which I did speak about it during the week. I want to expand that. Is the gift that Hashem gave us in the Mishkan. Hashem says, "V'yikhuli truma, build the Mishkan, v'shachanti b'soicho, I will rest there." The gift that Hashem is saying that I'm going to lay Shechina or Shoichen in this earth. We have a mokoim where he's Shoichen, where is he staying? What do we gain? Lichoiro, having a mokoim, it's worse. It's more megashim. It's more gashmi. It's more like Avodah Zarah. We know that when the Romans conquered Yerushalayim and the Beis Hamikdash, they took out the tabernacle, the tablets, and they showed everyone. He's speaking about Avodah Zarah. Look what he has in Kodesh HaKadoshim. He has two babies, a pouch of two babies. Proving wrong ideas. Okay. Shows the love of Hashem to us. Shlomo HaMelech, what he had on the walls of the Beis Hamikdash. So the Novi says he had a boy and a girl, nar velevayot. He had a young man and a young woman hugging each other, intertwine each other. That's what he had carved on the walls of the Beis Hamikdash of the Kodesh. What? I said Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech. Not Second Beis Hamikdash. First Beis Hamikdash. Now, Second Beis Hamikdash, no pictures at all. The only thing they had is the Shoshana, which is like Magen David that has all those signs against the 6 days, 6 parts of the world, 4 sides and up and down. So they had a symbol of the love of Hashem to us. But Lichoiro, that's lowering down the person concept in Hashem. Without a Mishkan, how people relate to Hashem. Hashem is everywhere. He's here, there, he's everywhere. And I relate to Hashem everywhere, and I talk to you directly. When I have a mokoim, we have to daven towards the east. Depends where we are in the world. There's a mokoim, there's a kodesh, there's a kodesh of the kodoshim. So in a way, it's putting down Momegashem, the relationship between man to Hashem. So what kind of gift is Vasuli Migdosh or Shachanti B'toicham? Adarabbe, it's a lower level. It's a lower level. It's a lower level. Before we sin in the Chet HaEgel, before Matan Har Sinai, we had Hashem everywhere. Vayzakur Hashem, they scream, maybe that cannot be Mokim Nanoki. Moshe Rabbeinu went out of the city. Because it's Moli Gilulim, full of Avodah, full of glolim, dirty. Nanoki, so you have to pray Mokim Noki. But Hashem is everywhere. So the concept of Hashem is everywhere. L'choiro, it's a higher level for mankind from having Beis Hamikdash. What is the great gift, or what is the great gain of having the Oseli Mina Shachanti B'Soyach? So the Birkas Shmuel, he brought down the Birkas Shmuel. Birkas Shmuel in Akdoma, he says that the goal of the Beis Hamikdash is the Kohen and the Sanhedrin, that they through Urim and Tumim or through HaKodesh of the Sanhedrin, They tell your journey. What is your journey in life? There's a direct relationship that Hashem will tell you what's your journey. In the time of Beis Hamikdash, you have to be a Zvulun, you have to be Issachar, you have to be Ruvain. Whatever you had, he told you what's your job. And it was no mixed up. It was very clear what's your position, what you're born for, and you're happy, you're doing your shlichus. One of the biggest things of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he gave meaning to people by saying every Jew is a shaliach. Shaliach of Hashem. Whatever you are, you're in South Africa, you're in Vietnam, Mongolia, whatever you are, you have shlichus. Every Jew, any say, in Eretz Yisrael, in Yeshiva, whatever you are, you're shaliach. But everybody's shaliach. No, you're Lubavitch. You have Chabad, Chochmah, Bina, Das, specialty. So, from being lost in exile in Golus, he gave basically a direct message to every Jew of his Hasidim, his people, what is their goal, their journey in life. Surprisingly, I don't know if we can say it in the camera, but I can say it. There's a reality. I was in a course. They called me in a course as rabbis of yeshivas because they gave me a program from the government, Yeshiva Torah, or whatever it is. And now they stopped giving the money. Hashem should have to daven. Hashem should give us the money back. Big hole for the yeshiva. Big loss. But Lemai said they gave us a course and they required all the Rosh Yeshivas to come. They required. What was the course about? That if somebody, a student, tells you he wants to mitabed means he wants to commit suicide, when you have to take him serious and basically what they said, that the highest rate of suicide is in the children of the Chabad. So what? Yes, once the Rebbe died, it's very serious what I'm saying now. It's very serious, and the Musa will see a point. They lost that. They had this very strong specialty of being shliach. You have meaning. Now, if suddenly you're shliach without a meshaleach, kind of, so you lost your shlichus, you lost out, and a lot of those kids commit suicide. Very, very serious. I'm saying. A lot of Chabad kids, they told us a very high rate. The highest of all communities in Eretz Yisrael. I don't know in the world, but in Eretz Yisrael. Very serious, very scary. So what I learned from that very big yesod, that if a person, and this is what we're looking, we want Mashiach now, we want Beis Hamikdash. We don't want Beis Hamikdash, we want to be Hashem everywhere. We want to connect to Hashem everywhere. Why need a mokoin? Because Shmuel says when you have a mokoin, you have a kohen gadol, you have a Sanhedrin, they can tell you in details what is your shlichus in the world, what you have to do. Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, Zichron Livroch, used to say that why people get depressed because they don't believe that they have a journey from Hashem. So when you don't believe you have a journey from Hashem, you lost, so you become depressed. That was his words. That's what he said. I saw it in this book that one of Talmidim took us little pamphlets. At one point I saw one word, and I agreed to him. I said, it's true. There's a lot of truth to it. That when a person doesn't know he loses his journey, I get a guy in yeshiva, was all broken, depressed. So I said, no, learn Torah, become a Talmid Chacham. I give him the dream of Torah, a package, right? Torah, specialty, Hashem loves you, Hashem loves everyone, and what's special, you become a Talmid Chacham is something that I need to convince him that he can give in Torah something nobody else can give. When he believes in that and he sees, which is true, that every person in the world has something to give in Torah, nobody else. When he believes in that, he's happy and he can function, he becomes strong, and he loses all this depression. So it's the same idea. So when we reading now Parshas Truma after the Chet HaEgel, Mamad Har Sinai, what is the great gift that Hashem is giving us? It's a Yerida. Giving us a Mokum is a Yerida. It's not a Yerida. It's Aliyah. The Aliyah is that we can have a direct relationship in details. What is our journey every step of our life? If somebody can tell us directly, as the Rambam says before, the Sanhedrin broke, there's no machloikes. When the Sanhedrin Agdoila broke down, it started machloikes. Why? When you had a Sanhedrin, you asked the question, majority picked up their hands, boom, that's what Hashem says. There's no Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Akiva, no Chacham, there's no Rashbo, Rishbo, there's only one, very clear. There's no machloikes. Other Rabbi went to exile. What we crying for the exile, for the Golus? There's a lot of machloikes, a lot of problems. We lost. Rashbo, Ra. Me, Kutas Achoin, Mishlo Melech, I'm all mixed up, Rabbi. You're pulling my nose this way. What was the directions? You have to work hard to figure out and to figure out what's exactly machlokes. Okay, we do the Chutz Hashem. That's when we connect to Hashem. That's the blessing He gave us in exile. But when we have Beis Hamikdash, Avodas Hashem was very clear. So that was the gift. The gift is not the mokoim. The gift is what the mokoim gives the individual. The mokoim is a yerida. Hashem is everywhere. And we have a mokoim, we have a kohen gadol, we have a sanhedrin, we have urim betumim. Ruach HaKodesh that can tell you specifically what you need to do, and that's Hashem's words. No, because it was not made.
No, it is because Hashem.
The Gashmuel says, definitely can say, you have korbanos, korban toida. What about that? Beis Hamikdash, what is Beis Hamikdash for? I have a place where I get an atonement.
That you're talking about Hashem or you?
So with you to Hashem. Your relation with you to Hashem. Relation to Hashem, Beis Hamikdash is a mockery that you can get a direct relationship and direction in life.
But Hashem's not telling you. The Sanhedrin is telling you. The rabbis.
Yeah, but through the mockery,
Through the mockery, but not Hashem directly.
It's machlokes tanoim also. It's machlokes tanoim. The din of Sanhedrin, Zoken Mamre, it's only when you have a Sanhedrin in Beis Hamikdash or Mokom Ahu. Rabbi Akiva, I think, Rabbi Akiva, right? When you have, it's only in the Mokom Ahu. If you have Sanhedrin in the Mokom Ahu, you have to listen to them like as if Hashem said. But definitely in the Mokom, if they sit down and Dika Shlishas Agosis, and majority says A or B, whatever they say is Hashem says. And if you don't follow, it's a consequence of death and etc., but you're fighting Hashem. A direct word from Hashem. So this is what we're crying for. We're crying for, we want a relation with Hashem. We want a direction. We are lost in every step of our life. A lot of people told me that when the Rebbe died, my father, a lot of people they said, I lost my father, I lost my direction. I don't know where to go. I'm all mixed up. Rabbi Schultz told me, he said, I have no desire to live. You know that? He said that. Because he's nobody to talk to. He felt there, he's lost, totally lost. And he was nifta almost a year later. Imamish felt that he's totally lost. There's nowhere to go. Totally lost. I can understand that. You have the same thing my father for me was like my Rebbe. Every word I said, he went. So you don't have Beis Hamikdash. At least you have a small Beis Hamikdash. You have a Rebbe. And your Rebbe tells you right, left, so you know your direction. Aselech harab. But it's not Mamish Beis Hamikdash. Mamish Hashem. You have a Beis Hamikdash. You have Sanhedrin. You have Kohen Gadol. So then you have direct. Totally direct. It's very clear. Hashem should give us the bracha. Then Beis Hamikdash will be built in we're able to have direction from Hashem and know our journey and fulfill our journey in our days. Shabbos. Rabbi Hanania ben Akash Yoel, Rosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Zak Yisrael L'Fika. Here by the time we are going to man, to go to the other. Miskadei Shrei Rabbo. No one will say, Yanicha will say, I am calling you, I'm calling you, I'm Beis Yisrael. Va'agolo v'zman kovidim hu amen. Isador, Isalem, Isalor, Shov, Yichu, Leila, Mikol, Rosov, Shirozov, Shirozov, Lechamosov, Lamiro, Amen. Alisroel, Malnabonon, Maltamidi, Oim, Kodamidi, Samidoim. Now, call Pandos, Kimora, Jatakadisho, Adem, Kolasam, Asam. Yeh, Lord, Control, Bokino, Kido, Rakamin. I know that the people call, Mikol, Shirozov, Amen. Yeh. Says,